welcome to livealittlehigher.com. Today we continue with Pirkei Avot, the Ethics of the Fathers, and we're in chapter 4, Mishna 27, in which Rabbi Meir says, "Do not look at the jug, but at what is in it. There is a new jug filled with old wine, and an old jug that does not even contain new wine." So we have to understand where this Mishnah is coming from, where this process of thought is coming from. Rabbi Meir used to learn from Elisha ben Abuya, who was a rabbi, who was a very great scholar, who went off the derech. He became an apicorus. He became a person that didn't believe in the Torah. Nevertheless, he had a lot of knowledge of Torah. He was a genius and a great scholar, but his life was not parallel to what he knew. So we know that he accepted the Torah teachings of Elisha ben Abuya, and that he came under a lot of criticism from other rabbis of that time, of the Talmud, and he explained that he was able to extract the good from the bad. It says that Rabbi Meir was able to eat a fruit and discard its peel completely. Like, he was able to extract all the good of something and not be affected by what was not good about that thing. So this was a unique capacity that he had. Not everybody had this, and he understood, and he always said that because he had this unique capacity, he had the capacity to learn from Elisha ben Abuya without being infected by his lifestyle. So it is of interest, therefore, that Rabbi Meir tells us not to judge a book by its cover. Like, this is what he's saying with this, but he's talking about jugs, except that he uses the wine container metaphor instead. And is Rabbi Meir saying that if the content is good, the character of the person who conveys is irrelevant? Is he giving carte blanche to emulate him and accept Torah teaching from someone who is not a Torah observant? So hardly Rabbi Meir knew only too well the risks that were involved of following Torah from someone that didn't even follow Torah. Like, we know that it's very important that if you learn Torah from someone, that person lives Torah. Like, there's many teachers that teach Torah, but they themselves don't keep the Torah. So it's not the best place to go and learn Torah, because you really have to learn Torah from a person that really emulates it and lives it. So the Talmud states that Rabbi Meir stood head and shoulders above his peers, who could not fathom the depth of his reasoning. Being aware of his great capacities, Rabbi Meir felt that he could safely extract the good from this enormously learned scholar who had deviated from Torah observance, and his case was an exceptional one, not to be followed by others. So the Pirkei Avot is telling us, okay, Rabbi Meir was able to do this, but this is not something that other people can do. Only he could do it. So the metaphor Rabbi Meir using in our Mishnah, that of old versus new vessels, refers to outward appearance only. So the vessel really is only talking about the appearance, the outward appearance. There are some people who are charismatic and are excellent orators, hence they may give the impression of being extremely learned. Like, you have people that can talk and talk and talk, and you think they know so much, but in reality they don't. They don't live it. So on the other hand, there are those who are extremely humble people that you would think they know nothing, and you see that it's the other way around. Today I read a beautiful story about a lady that was walking down Ben Yehuda Street in Jerusalem, and she saw this beggar in the street, religious beggar, and he stops her and he says, "Could you please help me?" So she stops and he looks at him and he says, "You know what? I found this box with this computer." It was I don't remember the name of the computer, but it was like $1,400, and he wanted to return the computer to the owner. That if she could help him find the owner of that computer. So she says, "Yes, I will help you." and they wrote down the number of the computer, and she went to the different stores around the Ben Yehuda where they sold computers. So she went to the first store and she said, I'm looking for a store that lost a computer. So the owner of the store says, no, I'm not sure if I lost a computer. So she says, show me the registry numbers of your computers, and the number was not there. Then she went to another store and she asked the owner, did you lose a computer? And this owner said, yes, imagine I was bringing in a cart all my computers, and this computer fell out of my cart when I was coming to the store. I didn't realize, and when I came, and I'm putting the computers, I'm missing one computer, and it's $1,400. So she says, okay, can you show me the numbers of your computer so I can check if it's the same computer? And eventually, obviously, the computer was his, the number was there. So she went back to the beggar in Ben Yehuda, and she says, this man is the owner of that computer, and he came and he gave the computer back to this man. This man wanted to give him all this money because he wanted to thank him. He had saved him a lot of money. He would have had to pay from his pocket the loss of that computer. And the man said, no way, I don't receive money for this. This is a mitzvah. I'm doing this big mitzvah of returning a lost object to his owner. And then she was talking to this beggar. He says that he's already returned around 24 items by just sitting there in Ben Yehuda street and asking for money. So you see, you're walking down the street, you see this beggar, you think he's a nobody, and at the end of the day, he's such a righteous person that he could use this money for himself, but nevertheless, his whole preoccupation is to do Hashem's will. So this is what Rabbi Meir is teaching us here, is that we cannot judge a book by its cover. We cannot look at the vessel and not think that there's nothing inside of a person. There's a story in the book of Rabbi Abraham Twersky that it says of a man that in pre-Holocaust, his name was Reb Menahem Siemba, who was an owner of a hardware store in Warsaw, and people knew of his erudition, like people knew he was a very learned person, but he was nevertheless a very humble person. He was always kept to himself. He was always in his store, making a livelihood, and then it was only when the rabbi of Gur told him that the Torah world was in need of his knowledge that he was essentially forced out of his hiding, and he came out and he taught Torah to multitudes of people. But he was a humble man nevertheless. You would go into his store, you would never imagine that he was a luminary. So appearances may indeed be deceiving, and we don't know what each person has inside. Maybe you think that very simple person sitting in the back of shul who never talks is a nobody, and at the end of the day, he's a great being. So I wish you a blessed week, and remember, live a little higher. Thank you.